What's up guys, Asian here with another PTS video, and today we're finally going to be able to take a look at the new and improved Nerien'eth and Valkyn Skoria and whether or not they are going to be worth running as of the Greymoor patch. So both Nerien'eth and Skoria were updated, as well as Ilambris, so pretty much three of the base game Magicka DPS Helm sets have been updated to make them a little bit more enticing for you to use. So Skoria and Nerien'eth on the live server right now have a health bonus as their one piece that has been changed to spell penetration for Skoria and spell damage for Nerien'eth. On top of that, a lot of the proc damage sets for both Helm sets and 5-piece sets have been updated, so they either have a higher chance to proc or they completely remove the chance to proc, so it's always guaranteed to proc, but they have adjusted the damage or the cooldowns accordingly to match the fact that there is a guaranteed chance to proc. All the Helm sets that I'm covering today do still have a chance to proc, so it's not like you're guaranteed to proc as long as you meet the conditions, but obviously there have been changes in Greymoor to kind of rebalance the Helm sets. So we're going to be taking a look at the base game Helm sets, as you can tell from the title of this video. We already know that Zaan is going to be the strongest Helm set pretty much across the board, as long as you're able to get all the ticks going for Zaan. So we're not really interested in knowing how these compare to Zaan. We all know they're going to be weaker compared to Zaan. But what we're interested in is, out of those four Helm sets, along with the fifth option, which is two one-piece crit sets, which one of them is going to give us the highest amount of damage in those situations where we are not able to run Zaan because the fight isn't mobile, or we're not guaranteed to get all the ticks of Zaan off on the boss if we are able to wear Zaan. So we did the four base game Helm sets. That is Ilambris, Valkyn Skoria, Grothdarr, and Nerien'eth, and we also used two one-piece crit sets. I did one parse of each, and because I'm doing all these on a Magicka Nightblade, because I am still trying out a couple of different rotations with the vampire stuff, Nightblades do have a little bit more crit RNG involved just because of Impale and the bow proc, so I did standardize for all of them, so I will tell you guys the standardized parses. You guys are able to go ahead and screen cap the combat reports as I show it to you guys, so you guys can do the math yourselves if you so desire. But let's go ahead and get started here with our combat metrics report. So this first one here is with two one-piece crit sets. So you can see here that I ran Perfected Sororia, Perfected Maelstrom, one-piece Slankra, one-piece Iceheart, Mother Sorrow, Sororia All Bloodthirsty. Here you can see my blue CPs, how I set them up. But here we pulled 80,000 K. Pretty much, I mean, 80,087, but we're rounding down to 80,000. Now, when we adjusted for the crit RNG, we got a total of 81.6K once we adjusted for all of the crit RNG that happened here. So right now, 81.6. That's what we're going for right now with the two one-piece crit sets. Then we have Nerien'eth here, which pulled 81.2K. Pretty much same exact blue CPs, didn't have to change any of the CPs around. Nerien'eth now does have that additional spell damage on the one piece. On live, it has the one piece health. And you can see here that when we deal direct damage, you have 50% chance to summon a Lich Crystal that explodes, dealing 12,774 magic damage to all enemies within 4 meters, and this can occur once every 3 seconds. So we can roughly work out how many procs we got just based on how many times Nerien'eth proc. We got 42 procs, so 42 times 3. So that should be, if this was on cooldown, should give us 126 seconds. Obviously, we were in combat for longer than that. We were in combat for, let's see, 240, just under 260 seconds, so we got probably 50% uptime on Nerien'eth, which is probably what you can anticipate given the fact that we only have a 15% chance to proc it, and it is on direct damage, so that would be things like your spamble, your light attacks, your enchant hits. So if we were trying to optimize for Nerien'eth, we'd probably, instead of using Swallow Soul, use something like Force Pulse instead, so we might be able to get higher uptime on Nerien'eth if we were to use something like Force Pulse, which has a lot more direct damage hits than just the one from Swallow Soul. But here we pulled 81.2K, and just checking my numbers here, For that one, we adjusted for our crit RNG. We got 81.2k. So it's just a little bit behind two one-piece crit sets, but still fairly respectable. Next, we took a look at Ilambris. So Ilambris was changed. So this is the new Ilambris. The one piece still remains max Magicka, but the two piece has been changed. Now it's a 33% chance to summon a meteor shower. They double the damage of the meteor shower, so now it deals 2740. On a live server, it would deal something closer to 1390. Same duration, so every second for 5 seconds, once every 8 seconds. But you can only have one type of meteor shower out at a time, so you can't have both flame and shock happening. So in this case, we only have the flame happening. So once again, we can take a look at our maximum uptime of 5/8, which is about 62.5%, and we just take a look at how many hits we have of Ilambris. So each tick happens every second, so we go ahead and take a look at this, 163, so 163 seconds out of, let's see how long we were in combat for, again, about 260, so that would be, let me really quickly go off screen, do the math real quick. That gives us, it's pretty much 100% uptime, about 62.7% uptime, so pretty much exactly 100% uptime here on Ilambris. So this is pretty much only maintaining light attacks, unstable wall, and we obviously have our fairy weapon glyph and burning. So we're able to maintain pretty good uptime on Ilambris, mainly because of the increase in the proc chance. So 81.1 exactly is our unadjusted, same blue CPs, everything else pretty much remained exactly the same. And once we adjusted for the crit RNG, we pulled 82.3. So Ilambris is so far pulling ahead by about 1k or so. It's still within margin of error, so obviously, 1k difference is pretty small overall in the grand scheme of things when you're pushing this high level of DPS. Next, we're taking a look at Valkyn Skoria here. Skoria was changed to include spell pen. So to adjust for this, we took the points out of the spell erosion and put them elsewhere. So I just bumped Master at Arms up, and I also bumped Staff Expert up to adjust for the additional spell pen that we got on Valkyn Skoria. Other than that, everything else remained exactly the same, so you do deal a little bit more splash damage now with Valkyn, but the initial hit, that 12,960, has remained unchanged. So once every 5 seconds, so if we take a look at the amount of hits we have 31 hits, and multiply that by 5, it's 155 seconds. So again, we were in combat for 240 plus 26, so 266. So 155 divided by 266, divided by 266 is about a 58% uptime on Valkyn Skoria here, and that's to be expected just because Valkyn Skoria does have a much lower chance to proc compared to Nerien'eth, which is a little bit surprising considering that Valkyn Skoria has about the same or even higher uptime compared to Nerien'eth, despite having half the chance to proc. And that's mainly because Skoria has a little bit more lenient way to proc it. It's off damage over time. That does include things like Mystic Orbs, Twisting Path, Unstable Wall, Fire, Burning if you have that up. So just a few more chances to proc Skoria compared to Nerien'eth, where we only have Swallow Soul and our light attack to really help proc it. But here we pulled 78.9k, and after we adjusted for crit RNG, we pulled 80.5k. So now we're starting to dip a little bit beyond the within margin of error. So just keep that in mind here. Skoria, while it is definitely an improvement, having the spell pen over the health, still doesn't do him much favors. It's still losing out right now. Finally, we have Grothdarr. Grothdarr hasn't changed at all. Still the exact same damage, exact same uptime every second for 5 seconds, once every 10 seconds, giving us a maximum uptime of 50% and a 10% chance to proc on any damage. So pretty easy to proc Grothdarr here. So in terms of number of ticks we have 138 ticks. On this would be 263. So a little bit over half. 50% uptime, that's just because of the way the fight times end up working out. So again, 100% uptime on Grothdarr here. We pulled 79.8k, and once we adjusted for the crit RNG, we pulled 80.9k. So the pecking order, again, is Skoria with the adjusted DPS of 80.6k, then Grothdarr with an adjusted DPS of 80.9k, followed by Nerien'eth at 81.2k. Then we have, oh no, that's not Nerien'eth, sorry. That is, what is that? Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out which one is which. Actually, no, that is Nerien'eth. Nerien'eth at 81.2k. Then we have two one-piece crits at 81.6k. And then we have Ilambris topping things off at 82.3k. And again, our full DPS values here are as follows. So 2 one-piece crit. This is Nerien'eth, this is Ilambris, this one is Skoria, this one is Grothdarr. So pretty much in line here. So pretty much Grothdarr and Skoria, not so great for single target DPS. Now Grothdarr does shine in cleave damage, so definitely something to take into consideration. Skoria, at the very least, you're guaranteed to get that hit going compared to something like Ilambris, where they have to stay within the entire duration of the storm in order to get the most out of Ilambris. So if you're moving around outside of the storm, then you're obviously losing out on that. Nerien'eth has a 2-second window where they can move out of it, but it is a 4-meter radius, so you do get a little bit of splash damage. So for more mobile fights where the boss is moving around very, very often, then Nerien'eth is not really going to be useful at all. And then you obviously have 2 one-piece crit sets, which is just static. You don't really have any procs to worry about. So in terms of what I would recommend running for base game Monster Helm sets, I'd probably say if you can get all the hits to land, Ilambris is going to be the best. If you want cleave damage, Nerien'eth is going to be pretty strong as long as your stacks are going to be really close together. Otherwise, 2 one-piece crit is going to give you the most consistent DPS. Grothdarr is going to be good if you have a lot of ads over a very wide area, and Skoria I would just avoid entirely, just because 2 one-piece crit does better than Skoria and achieves essentially the same thing as Valkyn Skoria does. I will have all these values in the description below for you guys, including the adjusted crit RNG values as well. But that pretty much covers it for this video. Hopefully you guys found this informative, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.